Merry Christmas, listeners, and Merry Christmas to you, Dave.
Merry Christmas, listeners. Merry Christmas to you, Mike.
Well, Dave, we got a couple of shout-outs for some shows coming up because no matter how good your family is, when it's all said and done, come day after Christmas, you may wish you were somewhere else.
That's always a possibility. I'll tell you what struck me is we are already spotlighting shows in 2025. Do you realize how close 2025 is?
Maybe a week and a couple days, something like that.
I mean, doesn't it seem like we just sat down to plan out 2024?
We did, and it seemed to fill itself up pretty quickly.
It did, and I got no complaints. But yeah, I'm starting to look forward to the shows coming up in 2025.
Well, folks, at least a couple of geographies, at least on the eastern side of the country, are going to get some opportunities in January.
Yes.
Pretty quickly out of the chute are two shows that we're going to spotlight with their show promoters. The first one is Chattanooga ModelCon, which is going to be real soon here in January. And we had their show chairman on for a little chat about the Chattanooga ModelCon. And let's let folks get educated on that one, Dave.
That sounds good.
Well, Dave, the model show season is going to get off to a rousing start. We got two to cover in this episode. And the first up one is the Chattanooga Scale Modelers. And we've got Mr. Ben Gibby with us tonight from the Chattanooga Club. Ben, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
We're good.
Good.
We hear you got a show coming up.
Yes, we do. It's coming up in January on the 10th. We're about half a day on the 10th, and the 11th we've got all day basically for the big part.
Well, that's interesting. Is that normal for your show as a
Yes.
IPMS Invitational? You do a day and a half?
Yeah, we've done 2 days for as long as I can remember. I've been with the club since 2014, and they were doing it before I started.
Now, has the show always been this early in the season?
Yes, that was the decision made way before I got there. I really can't give any logic or reason for it, but it's kind of the first one of the year.
Oh, that's great. Hey, listen, nothing wrong with being first.
Yeah.
People have all that Christmas money. They got to come down and spend it at your vendors.
There you go.
And they probably have a malaise from all the holiday activities. And
Yep.
it's a good way to get out for the day.
That's right.
Day and a half, actually. Well, where is the show actually held within Chattanooga?
It was at the Chattanooga Convention Center downtown.
Ah, okay.
Oh, where the Nationals was held?
Yes, the same building.
That is a wonderful facility.
Yes.
I've got to say that was, I've been to a lot of Nationals, and Chattanooga, for many reasons, is one of my favorites. And that facility is just top notch.
Yes, it is. We get a lot of very complimentary things said about our show, and trying to talk them into doing another one.
What, another National?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
You would get nothing but cheers from me. I would love to see you all do another National.
It's going to be a hard sell, though. We got a lot of people who are...
Oh, come on. I'm sure Mike is just chomping at the bit to be the show chairman at another National.
Well, actually, that would fall to me. Mike moved away from us.
Oh, when did he move?
He moved like 3 years ago. He's up in North Carolina right now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you could draft him back in, bring him back in.
We could probably talk him into it.
There you go. There you go. So your show's a day and a half?
Yes.
It opens at noon on the 10th, or what time on the 10th?
Noon. We'll let anybody in if they want to help us with the setup. You can come in early.
There you go. There you go. Is it a classic IPMS style show with first, second, third, and all of the categories?
We actually do gold, silver, bronze.
Okay. Is it an open system gold,
Yes.
silver, bronze? Okay.
Yes. We've gotten some negative comments and very positive comments on it, but we're sticking with it because we like it.
Okay. Well, that's you do what the club likes. That's the important thing.
Well, you got to run it.
Yeah, really, you got to run it. So run it the way you like it. What's your vendor setup look like? Lord knows you've got to have plenty of room at that center.
At the moment, we're at 110 tables have been sold for the vendors. That's getting close to the record. I think the record was like 123 a couple years ago.
Wow.
But yeah, we do really well on the vendors. People like coming to us just for that.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah.
Now, Squadron's one of our sponsors. Are they make your show?
They have 10 tables with us.
I was about to say, how many of those are Brandon's?
Yep. Always looking forward to Brandon's setup.
When I was in college, I used to come through Chattanooga quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because I had friends that lived in South Middle Tennessee down past that. And in the 80s, I don't know how long you've lived there.
I've been here off and on all my life.
Okay. I would say in the 80s, mid 80s, late 80s, Chattanooga was kind of in decline.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess a lot of their heavy industries had moved out and just a lot of stuff was gone. And I don't know when the revitalization started, but it's been a huge success. And we go down there to the Tennessee Aquarium about every other year.
Yeah.
In fact, we were down there just in the spring because I had a niece getting married down that area. And we took a day and went to the aquarium again. But what can you tell folks about downtown Chattanooga now, down around the convention center?
You got the aquarium, you got all kinds of restaurants. It's a great place to be. Everything's within walking distance of the convention center. We've got the free shuttle that runs. You just find you a spot and they'll stop at it and take you pretty much anywhere in town.
Well, isn't there also an auto museum close by?
Yes, there is. And the name fails me at the moment.
Yeah, I can't remember it either, but it's
Coker Tire. I think it's Coker Tires.
Yes.
Has a museum.
Yeah, and it's an amazing museum.
Yes, I've never been, but I've heard great things and seen lots of pictures.
Oh, it's unbelievable. So I know that I walked by it when I was down there at the 2019 convention.
Yeah.
One of the things that impressed me about downtown Chattanooga in 2019 was the number of really nice restaurants that were around. Boy, you've got a really great selection of food and a great variety. Almost no matter what type of food you like, there's a restaurant in downtown Chattanooga that serves that cuisine.
Yeah, if you go hungry in Chattanooga, you're not trying hard enough.
Well, and they've got some really good microbreweries.
Yes.
Are you all tied to a particular hotel? Do you have a deal with a particular hotel?
Not this year. The prices haven't really been real good, so it's just kind of a fend for yourself.
Gotcha.
The only thing I'm going to say bad about the whole thing.
Well, and that's pretty much the industry these days.
Well, I think January in Chattanooga, finding a room is not going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's
not like June or July.
Right.
Well, back to the vendors, you got about 10% of your tables are Squadron. Any other notables, or is it? Typically we see a mix of cottage industries, hobby shops, that sort of thing, and then folks just getting rid of stuff.
Yeah, we've got John's Models, Firehouse Hobbies, a lot of local stuff and regional stuff, and quite a few actual just small vendors, 1 and 2 tables.
Okay, man, that's a lot of tables. Even with Squadron taking 10 of them.
Yeah. That's one thing I've always been impressed by. Even when I wasn't involved in the club, I went to a couple shows, and it's just like, wow, this is the model heaven for me right now.
So when does registration close? I assume at some point on Saturday?
Mall registration stops at noon on Saturday.
Noon on Saturday.
Yes.
And then when do you all... Obviously, you judge after that. When do you get the awards done and get the show wrapped up by?
We try to get the awards out by about 4:00.
Okay.
But we don't always get it because we do have a different judging system.
Sure.
Every model gets looked at, so that can take us a while. But we aim for 4:00.
Okay.
And we start judging Saturday or Friday night when we get the first registration, and we'll go look at those before we close down for the night.
Yeah, that's Chicago. When Mike and I went to the MMSI show in October, they did the same thing. They judged the stuff that had come in on Friday, and then stuff that comes in on Saturday.
We'd never make it if we didn't have Friday to start judging on.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I have to wonder if that played into the 2-day or day and a half decision there, your judging format.
That makes a lot of sense. Mike Moore was just kind of a rebel in the whole thing and wanted to do a little bit different. So I think it was really his decision, but I like it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are very complimentary on it, so we're keeping it.
I think the tide's moving that direction. There were quite a few. Well, I won't say quite a few, but there's a surprising number of shows that were either new shows who started with that format or have moved to that format. We had a spotlight for a show out in California. I think that's right, Dave. That was going to be an open format show. And yeah, be real curious. Dave and I are trying to do some more shows down in your region this year. And I don't know, this is tempting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it's very tempting because Chattanooga is, especially for Mike, is not a long drive at all.
Right.
No, it's not too bad from Lexington. It's about 4 hours from us, but you guys are going to pull from, I imagine the Atlanta guys come up, Marietta area down there, and then probably from North Alabama. And
yep. We get a lot of help from the Marietta Club, a little bit of help from some of the Alabama clubs. Knoxville helps a little bit. So we draw from everybody. We got a little bit of everything going on.
Was there anything other than the judging format that makes the Chattanooga show unique? You got the half day on Friday, but it just sounds like it's a stellar location. Is there anything else that you might want to mention that's noteworthy for your show?
I think we've pretty much hit the two main things, the extra day and the judging style.
And the very crowded vendors room.
Yes, the very crowded vendors room. That's the high point.
I was going to say that's always an attraction for a bunch of modelers, especially a bunch of modelers who may have just gotten Christmas money.
Yep.
Well, where can folks online find information about the show?
We are at ChattanoogaModelers.com.
Okay.
And what do you have there? You have the show information? And
we have a show flyer. Our homepage, we've got the Chattanooga ModelCon. It'll give you the flyer, the registration forms you can download and fill out. Kind of shows you the whole overview of what's going on, model entry forms, scoring sheets, the show rules, judging guidelines, kind of our philosophy on the way things are judged. A small gallery of some previous shows.
Okay. So you got quite a bit there, actually.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice build out.
Well, tell us again the date and location so folks can come to your show.
It is January 10th and 11th of 2025 at the Chattanooga Convention Center. It's Friday from 1 to 6 and Saturday from 9 to 4-ish, 4:30, sometime around there.
And if you show up early on Friday, they'll put you to work helping do setup.
You will be put to work helping do setup. Yes, sir.
Well, that sounds great, and Mike and I may have to talk. If we could steal a day, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I probably couldn't do the day and a half, but we could get up.
Yeah, we might
crack
be
it
able
on
to
Saturday and
day.
meet you down there. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Let me know, and we'll roll out the red carpet for you.
Thank you. Well, we appreciate you coming on and promoting the show, and we hope some folks out there hear this and make the decision to come.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Dave, you always rave on and on about kind of like Buddy Holly, but like the national convention held in Chattanooga. So you're familiar with the facility for sure.
The facility is fantastic. Chattanooga's a great town, a really, really great town. You and I got to see if we can steal a day and make a cannonball run down there, because I'm itching to get down there.
Well, I'll grow a mustache and you get the wrestling mask.
You got it.
Dave DeLuise.
That's right.
Well, I tell you, the half day on the Friday gives a little incentive to folks coming from out of town to get a little bonus there if they happen to come in early.
Yep. And there's tons to do and see in Chattanooga. I mean, it really is. It's a great town for tourism. It's a great town for food and drink. I'm itching to try and get down there. We got to see if we can steal a day.
Well, up next is one our listeners should be quite familiar with. It's WinterBlitz, put on at the Museum of the American GI, and our Special Agent 003, Brandon Jacob, joined us again. Gosh, it's like the fifth time, I guess.
Yes.
We've had him on to promote this show, and it continues to get better. And we had a great conversation with Brandon.
Yes, we did.
Dave, moving on to our second feature tonight, we've got WinterBlitz 2025, and with us to talk about that is our old friend Brandon Jacob. Brandon, how the heck are you? How down in Texas?
I am doing very good. How are you guys doing?
I'm good, man. We saw a lot of you in 2024.
Yeah, we did.
I got around.
Yeah, well, it's always good to hear from Agent 003, man.
003, what? I bumped into you, Mike, in Knoxville.
Yeah, I know. That was a big surprise. I didn't know.
That was a random bizarre stop. And man, I went to AMPS Nationals and I saw you guys, which was what a great show that was. And
oh my gosh. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got another great show to talk about. Tell us about it, Brandon. When is WinterBlitz 2025 and where? And all that?
All right. Let me give it to you. WinterBlitz 2025 is going to be held this year, January 25th, once again at the Museum of the American GI in College Station. For those who are not familiar where College Station is, it's the home of Texas A&M, and it's kind of located in the middle between Houston, Austin, San Antonio, and then maybe it's just a little bit further out for our friends in the Metroplex to get down there, but it's in close proximity to all the big cities in Texas.
Well, being in January in Texas, I'm assuming that you're not really worried about getting snowed out.
You know, that's funny. I wish you didn't say that. It's been such a mild winter here. I mean, it was like 80 something degrees today.
Oh,
yeah. I mean,
I'd kill for that.
Beautiful, beautiful day. And we always get our winter in late January and February. And so far, WinterBlitz has been very lucky. It's been cool, right? It's going to be cool, but we've just been lucky with like ice, and you always got to knock on wood because it could happen, even in Texas.
Well, this is year number 4?
Number 4.
Oh, but man, I remember talking with you when you all were just starting to do this, when it was just an idea in your head.
It's a wild, crazy idea.
Yeah, this is amazing.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean,
yes.
It's the people that are helping, the people who show up, it's the museum, it's the great backdrop for a great armor model show. Yeah, we've been very fortunate.
Well, the museum has to be thrilled with what you built from scratch, because I'm sure it's good for them and for their attendance and for publicity for the museum.
You know, it's funny you say that. I'm not sure. Looking back, I'm not sure they really understood what a model contest could mean.
Yeah.
At the beginning, like was this going to be like a bunch of guys showing up with snap together kits and
right.
And they definitely get it now. They definitely are happy with the show.
Well, good. So it's on the 25th. What time does registration open?
Open to the public at 9 a.m.
Okay. And when does registration close?
Registration, we close it at 11:30.
Okay.
But we always say, hey, look, since it's not a home turf show and someone might be coming from who knows where. If you could get in before your category is judged, we'll take late comers, but 11:30 is the real cutoff.
Gotcha. And you all use an open style system of judging, correct?
We do, and we're gonna stick with that.
Okay.
And I think it works for our show in that it is a shorter window, right? Like we try to start the award ceremony earlier, and remember, it's just armor. We're able to, I think, judge quickly, and it has to be that system. And it just works. It just works that way.
Well, you say armor only. Aren't you making a change this year?
Yes, we are making one little change.
Does it have to do with your theme?
Has to do with our theme. Our theme for WinterBlitz 2025 is the Vietnam War.
Okay.
And people may or may not know this, but it's the 50th anniversary of the United States end of involvement with the Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm.
And the museum just so happens to be heavy. There's a lot of good stuff, artifacts from Vietnam, an Ontos, an M113, a mechanical mule, a PBR boat, and even a Cobra. This was one of the very few flying things they have in a museum is a Cobra. And we thought that the Vietnam War theme not only worked for WinterBlitz, but it certainly works for the museum as well.
Sure.
And you can't really commemorate the Vietnam War without helicopters.
Right.
There's just no way you could do that, right? I mean, you gotta have helicopters.
They're flying tanks. Right.
So what we did this year is add a category. We wanted to keep it narrow, and it's United States helicopters flown in the Vietnam War.
Chinooks, Hueys, Cobras,
sky cranes, right?
Sky cranes, Loaches.
Yep.
And then some of the early ones from the
and then some of the early ones, the Flying Banana. Well, CH-46, if you're talking about Marines.
Yeah.
We think we're going to see one or two Hueys.
Probably.
Nice.
But yeah, it's an exciting. It's an exciting because we heard some feedback already from some of the airplane guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they were very thankful. It's like, wow, man, you have a good thing going on up there. And even some of them would come and they couldn't enter. But finally, an airplane guy gets to bring a helicopter.
And there are a lot of good helicopter kits out there.
Yeah. So it's going to be exciting to see how that goes, just to make sure we don't burst at the seams for that category and that category only. We're saying one per entrant.
One entry per person.
Yeah.
That category. They can bring a whole bunch of armor stuff, but if they bring a helicopter, only one.
You got it. Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Well, that makes sense since you do have limited space, since you're held in a museum. But I'm telling you what, Mike and I have gone to several contests held in museums, Heritage Con, of course, and then Cincinnati. And there's something special and different about having a model contest in a museum and being around all of the full-size items that are relatable to what we do as a hobby.
Again, I think people pay WinterBlitz a lot of compliments, but let's be honest, it starts with that great backdrop.
Yeah.
We've added helicopters. Is there anything else you've added?
Yeah, we did. We really haven't significantly changed other categories, but what we did, and again, because we're just armor, we have 25 categories, one being helicopters, and 24 different armor categories. So what that does is enable us to be more specific, right? Like you bring a model and it's going to be probably judged against something that's a little more specific than just a general, World War II tanks. As an example, we break it down as much as we have a separate artillery category. And then right next to that, we have a category called All Things Towed, which was you have to have the tractor and a trailer. And that could be an artillery piece or a trailer, just a water trailer. It doesn't matter. But
right.
So we were able to be a little more specific. To go a little more specific this year, we added an airplane busters category, meaning any self-propelled anti-aircraft vehicle, right? Could be a tank, half-track, armored car. It even could be a figure, right? As long as it's self-propelled and its original or main purpose is to shoot down an airplane, that's a new category for this year. And what that's going to do is, I think, kind of take a little pressure off like the half-track category, because that's where they typically end up winding up is in that half-track category.
Well, another thing you've always done at this show is you have a Tank of the Year award, and I assume you've got a new Tank of the Year.
We do. This year, we kind of excited about this one. Tank of the Year for 2025 is the T34 and its variants. And that's an important one. It's got to be, could be a variant.
Well, there are a lot of good T34 family of tanks that you can do out there. So I'm sure that's going to be hugely popular.
It's exciting because we also came up with, it's going to be a little surprise, but we have a small little token, if you will, for anybody who brings a qualifying T34. They're gonna leave with a little token, and then obviously someone's going to win the grand Tank of the Year award.
Why'd you pick the T34?
You know, what's funny is last year was the first year we did a Tank of the Year, and it was obviously Sherman, and the boys down at the Houston Armor Club voted on that. That was a good one to start with. And last year, Rick Cotton and I, during WinterBlitz, we went around, and out of 375 models last year, we had 2 T34s. And we decided we needed to see a few more T34s. So that's really how it was that simple of a pick.
It's good to be in charge of the show, isn't it?
It is, but you know, that only meant if there's two T34s, and I think there was like 4 the year before that. That only means there was a hell of a lot of T34 models in people's closets.
That's right. Get them out, get them built.
Get them out, exactly.
Well, I think we might have misspoke a little bit earlier about the judging format. It's not really an open system. It's a modified kind of IPMS system. Once you elaborate a little bit on what you guys are doing a little different.
It's what we call it is a loose interpretation of IPMS rules, but in general, it is the IPMS rules with the exception of we ask our judges to not just focus on the negative attributes. And by that, I mean, sometimes people, the first thing they want to do is tracks out of line and of course that's important at our show, but like look at the positive attributes as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
The total presentation kind of approach.
Meaning if there's, a work of art on the table and there's a speck of something that might or might not be a proper thing, step back and say, is this still a winning model?
Right.
Sometimes you see at shows things get disqualified and you go, I don't know, man. The rest of the model was stellar except for that one problem. And again, keep this in mind because of the way the categories are, we already start specific, and we've always split a lot. In fact, last year, all but 5 categories were split at least one time. Mm-hmm. So it breaks down to most models are going to be judged, 10 to 12 models. And when you do that, it makes judging so much easier versus a sea of 25 models.
Yeah.
You could focus on the model a little bit more.
It looks like you've got a lot of support for the show this year as far as people sponsoring the show.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. We're thankful for every group that's stepped up and shame on me if I don't mention. First of all, we've got Tamiya once again. They're stepping up and sponsoring.
Well, it's an armor show. Darn well they should.
Absolutely, right? And we're grateful. We're grateful for their sponsorship. And we won't miss a moment to say something good about Tamiya. Lionheart Hobby, Rudy and Danielle, they've been with WinterBlitz since day one, and they can continue to support the show. New for this year, we've got Mr. Steve Munsell with Value Gear. He is threatening to come down to the show.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, so we're kind of excited about that.
I think a bunch of armor modelers would be really thrilled to see Value Gear actually there.
I shared with him, I said, you're literally going to be in front of every serious armor modeler in Texas. So yeah, it's certainly worth his trip. And then G&G Hobbies, our favorite model shop here in Houston, And then we actually got Mr. Jim Root of Black Widows coming and going to set up shop in the vendor room and see if he could sell a few models as well. So we've got a good group of people coming.
Well, that's fantastic. I am thrilled to see something that 4 years ago was simply an idea in your head blossom into what we're talking about now.
Again, I couldn't do it without the museum support and obviously the Rick Cotton and Eric Choi, people who are stepping up to put this thing on and helping me is what makes it successful. And I'll tell you, and before I forget, my good friend Austin Fields of the YouTube channel Sprues and Spoons. And as a matter of fact, I love to give him a shout out. You know, he does that interviewing of modelers at conventions.
Yep.
And he's going to come down.
Well, that's great. That's great.
So hopefully we'll have one or two YouTube premieres after this year's WinterBlitz up for people to see.
Now, do you have a website?
We do, and we keep it current, and
that's good.
Yeah,
right. Not everybody does that.
No, and I'm certainly no expert at coding, but I just go in there and try to update. We just did some updates on the rooms, and in fact, let me just say this to anybody who's coming, and if you're going to get a room in College Station, man, the rates are like our main hotel sold out. There's something else going on, but there's like cheap hotels like 10 minutes further away. There's no hotel right at the museum, so nobody's staying there, right?
Right.
But like it's important to keep the website updated for things like that.
So what's the address?
winter-blitz.com.
www.winter-blitz.com.
You got it.
Gotcha.
Well, Brandon, is there anything else folks need to know?
If you're listening to this and you're in Texas and you've never been to a show or you've never entered a show, come on out and enter, or come on out and just see it. It's going to have a great raffle, great door prizes, great people, friendly people. And again, because of the time of the year, we start at 9, we get judging at noon, and we promise an award ceremony that starts at 3 and is over by 4. So people could get out of there and get on the road before it gets dark. And it's a quick day, but a lot in one day.
It's good to have you back on, and we look forward to the next time we see you. I don't know when that's going to be, but we're probably not going to make WinterBlitz. It's a pretty good haul for us.
I'll let you know, but hopefully, I'm definitely eyeing amps.
Do me a favor, take a whole lot of photos at the show and post them on the dojo so that we get to virtually experience the show.
I will definitely do that, and we'll put a link up there for Austin stuff when he gets it out as well.
Thank you.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to your show plan and your own modeling, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You take care.
All right, y'all be good.
Well, it's been fun watching that thing grow from an idea into something that, I don't know. Sky's really the limit. It could probably be whatever they want it to be at this point.
Yep. And I've got to say, I'm very happy that we were kind of there from the beginning to watch this blossom and turn into what it's turned into, which is way more than the little model contest that I think they had the idea for the first one. And it's just become an amazing, amazing show.
Well, I hope Brandon, and if he doesn't, somebody else will make good on posting a lot of those photos to the dojo, because I'm really interested to see what's at that show again, because there's really a lot of good stuff there last year.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to see photos from both Chattanooga and WinterBlitz.
Well, folks, if you're in a commutable distance to either Chattanooga during their show dates or WinterBlitz there in the heart of Texas for their show date, make the effort, go the extra mile, try to get there. I'm sure you'll have a blast at either one of them.
Yes. Hey, start off 2025 right. Go to a model show.
Well, Dave, we better get on to our New Year's activities.
Yes, we better, and start planning the 2025 campaign.
That's right. So, folks, Merry Christmas again, and have a Happy New Year. And you may hear from us one more time before January 1st. We sure hope so.
You got it.